We have a verdict.
I'm gonna just say it, man. Not guilty. I think they're gonna find Diddy not guilty.
The jury has reached a verdict in the Diddy trial, but we're not done yet. The judge received the note a little after 4 p.m. and they said that they reached the verdict on counts 2, 3, 4, and 5. They tell the judge that they are unable to reach a verdict on count 1, which is the RICO charge. The reason being, they say they have unpersuadable opinions on both sides. When this note came in, everybody was there, including Diddy, his family, his team, the prosecution, and of course the judge. After reading the note, the prosecution and the defense are telling the judge to push the jury to keep on deliberating. Now the judge could do that, but he also has another option. That would allow for a partial verdict and allow them to hang on racketeering. Personally, I don't think that's going to happen because if Diddy gets found guilty of racketeering, he could face up to life in prison. Sentencing for the other counts are definitely less. I believe 2 of them are maximum of 10 years. And if he's found guilty of trafficking, I think the minimum for that is 15 years. In terms of how the jury will get told whatever the judge decides, Mark Agnifilo asked the judge to bring the jury out and tell them directly that they need to keep deliberating instead of just sending them a note. It seems like the judge is going to tell them to continue deliberating. If anything from that changes, I will let you guys know.
Yes, the trial jury reaches verdict on all counts except 1. When you take a look at what is going on, Diddy Combs' former bodyguard, Big Comey, has fled the United States, claiming he fears for his life if Diddy walks free. He says that based on what he is already reviewed publicly, he's certain Diddy will come after him. I know if he walks, I will be target number 1. That is the information I see. He had an interview on Piers Morgan, but that is not our focus on this video. I've seen a lot of videos, news coming out about this whole situation with people putting out speculations how this is going to end. I just want to show you some clips so you can see exactly what is going on. If you love what I'm doing here, please subscribe, share the video, and check if your notification is on.
So I don't think there's really any question. The loser today is Diddy. The jury has come back with unanimous verdicts on 4 of the 5 counts. They are hung up on racketeering, but they have reached verdicts, Cassie, and the Mann Act as it relates to Jane. The judge has sent the jury back and said, continue deliberating. They have now recessed for the day. In a minute, I'm going to tell you about why I believe this jury is probably going to come back. And let me just first break down why I think this is bad news for Diddy. The Mann Act is easy. It is the transportation of a worker across state lines for commercial purposes, prostitution. I mean, I don't see how the prosecution did not prove that. And the fact that the jury came back this quickly, it tells me, look, I don't know, but it seems like he's cooked on those 2. As for trafficking, we have to look at Cassie and Jane separately. To prove trafficking, you have to show that Diddy committed these acts using force or coercion. It's interesting as to Cassie. The jury wanted to hear about a trip to Cannes. They wanted the transcript, and this is where Cassie and Diddy flew back from Cannes to New York. On the plane, Diddy showed Cassie a video that she was on, and he said, according to her, if you don't engage in a freak with me when we land in New York, I'm going to show this to your mother and release it publicly. If the jury believes that, that's it. It's coercion. And it's interesting, they honed in on that during their deliberation. Now, they could go either way, but that was, I thought, all along, the most direct evidence of coercion, if you believe Cassie.
Yes,
And I think
I
he's in
can't lie
trouble,
to
man.
you.
As to Jane,
It is hard to tell from what we know right now. I highly doubt he will be found guilty of the RICO charge. That is the truth. Based on what I've seen on social media, the other charges didn't take a lot of time to deliberate on. That should tell you something. Along the way, some people have already concluded reasons. I always like to look at things on both sides. This is TMZ, this guy you just saw. According to him, he has already concluded like he might be found guilty on some of these charges. There is this one guy who made it clear like Diddy will not be found guilty and he will go after people. I don't get the point why people will speculate this. I saw the bodyguard fleeing the country as a result of this.
Dana, well, right now, from our courtroom producer, it seems, and bear in mind, there are a lot of moving parts right now coming from inside the courthouse, but right now it seems like the judge is going to instruct the jury to continue deliberations and emphasize that they should try to reach a verdict. And just to unpack what got us to this point, the judge, he looked at proposals from both prosecutors and the defense. The defense pointed out that there's a lot of material, and the jurors have been very efficient, but they didn't reach a verdict on count one. And the defense thinks jurors don't need much help and they shouldn't be given a push to move along. The judge also asked the defense what it thought about the juror note that said jurors were unpersuadable on count one of racketeering conspiracy. The judge suggests that he would just tell them to go back in, continue to deliberate and not address their concern. The prosecutors argue that doing so would be asking for a repeat of the duty of jurors to reach a verdict. And so there was a lot of back and forth between this, and the notes we're getting from the courtroom, they're coming at rapid fire. But at this point, I can tell you the latest that we're hearing and we're reading from our producers inside is that it seems like right now the judge is going to instruct the jury to go back and continue deliberations. But I just got another note, and if I may read this to our viewers. We just learned from our producer the defense wants to ask the jury at the end of the day tomorrow, rather than now, if they would want to stay over the 3rd. I'm not sure what that means. We're going to need to get more clarification on that. But the defense has said they do not want jurors to feel rushed. The defense has said they don't want jurors to feel rushed or stressed. And neither the defense or the prosecution objects to a July 3rd meeting, should it be necessary. And they say if they meet on July 3rd, this concern about racketeering conspiracy would be brought back up to the jury at that point.
Someone wrote, partial verdict says guilty. If the most serious charge which practically requires the underlying charges to be guilty is the one they are deliberating on, then he is going to be serving time. The only question is if it will be life or just past Vigra age. That is someone responding to this video. Like I said, people have different opinions. I'll be giving you update to what is going on at the very end.
I will be all right. Those were Diddy's last words to his mom before he left the courtroom today, trying to put on a positive face. Moments before that, we just found out that the jury had reached a verdict on 4 out of the 5 counts.
I'm going to just say it, man. Not guilty. I think they're going to find Diddy not guilty. But I will say this, though. If they find him not guilty, it's going to be a whole lot of people who's going to be mad, man. Because first of all, he's going to sue the living crap out of a whole lot of people. You guys remember how Donald Trump sued CNN for defamation of character, and Donald Trump actually won a lawsuit. A lot of big corporations, a lot of big companies, branding companies wrote him off. A lot of people came out and spoke publicly about their opinion about his fate as far as guilty or not guilty. Now, I've said a while back that there was going to be a hung jury. and it looks like it's leaning towards a hung jury. They said that some of the verdicts are in, but that doesn't make, well, I guess it does make sense to me, because they can find you guilty on 3 or 4 accounts, but then find you not guilty on other accounts.
Thank you guys for always being there, sharing all my videos. God bless you abundantly. If you see clips after this, that is for my YouTube algorithm. They hardly recommend clips on this channel, so we struggle every single day to see that they pick up some videos by using any means.
It's a very, very let them eat cake kind of moment. Watching their dear, dear life. I can't say enough negative things about this man. I'm not sure he's human. I like, in the same way you look at a psychopath that, like Dahmer, eats them. That's how I am now looking at Sean Combs. There's something deeply wrong with him. There's a depravity to this man that
people line up for my advice.
Why don't we choose more carefully who we're going to lionize?
Just many natural reasons why marriage, infertility, trying to have kids makes things difficult.
There's something wrong with this person. And actually found a way.
What did you make of Donald Trump's
100?
Has been overwhelming. The lies and their amplification.
This is not going to end.
Self-defense. There's no self-defense because kids in here and resolve this issue is called conflict resolution.
Again, the evidence is still coming in.
This is definitely a self-defense case because it always is one.
Because she's fearful of what might happen.
And then the
Registration Act is
talking about this man, Killmonger.
My summary of the first 100 days is that
if film and TV productions continue to
first term, and you will be very.
Once again, the field was littered with Wintour does every year. This Carmelo Anthony case.
Live in the White House. Many people
like a little unhinged drunk.
And black people don't.
Since we're talking about integrity, I'm placed last in the recommendation.